the dream of home ownership had given us so much, self-respect and pride and self-esteem. And so
have our own.
Yeah, exactly. And so I always thought that kind of my mission in life was to help people achieve the American dream. And over the last 2 years, I've really had the opportunity to inspire other real estate agents, which I never ever thought my videos would touch.
Big it up, big it up. Yeah.
Welcome to Let's Talk Real with Mel. We are here with the lovely Glennda Baker from Atlanta, Georgia. Welcome.
I'm so excited to be here. I can't even believe you asked me, so thank you. I'm so honored.
No problem. Yes, and we're here in downtown Nashville.
I know.
It's awesome.
You gotta love it.
Yeah, country music capital of the world.
I know. So I fit right in with all my sparkle. I just think that I'm like Dolly, like 1.0, with the hair and the sparkle and the nail.
Yeah, everything. You got everything flowing. Right. So for those that don't, for the 3 viewers that don't know who you are, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
My name is Glennda Baker. I'm a real estate agent from Atlanta, Georgia, and I have been selling real estate since Jesus was a baby. So like 30 years.
Wow.
Can you believe that? And my birthday was this week. And I always say, all good people are born in December, me and Jesus. So it kind of just flows with, since Jesus was a baby, like we were toddlers together.
That's right. Tuesday was your birthday.
It was December 13th, me and Taylor Swift.
Okay. Yeah. Happy birthday. She might be in town too.
She might be. We drove by her penthouse and the lights were on. So I'm thinking that it's possible that she's here.
Did anyone knock on the door to see?
It's secure.
Oh, okay. It's I know that's such a
bummer.
Right. All right. So you've been in business 30 years in Atlanta, Georgia, serving clients. What made you 30 years ago decide, what'd you do before real estate?
I designed and manufactured ladies' clothing. Yeah, most people don't know that. So I was designing and manufacturing ladies' clothing in Atlanta. I had actually been making them in my bedroom.
Okay.
And I modeled down at the Atlanta Apparel Mart, and I went down to interview for a job. And she goes, "Oh, I love your outfit. Where did you get that?" I said, "I made it in my bedroom." And she goes, "Oh, do you think that you could make some more and show them at market?" And I'm like, "Look, lady, I get paid a lot of money to be a model. I just want $125 a day." And she goes, "I'll make a deal with you. If you don't sell more than you would get paid, then I'll pay you just as if you had been a model."
Pay the difference. Okay.
And I was like, "Okay, that sounds reasonable." I said, "How many outfits do you need?" She goes, "I need 15 outfits." I said, "Okay." So I went home, and in 3 days, I had 15 outfits made.
Okay.
I showed them at that market, and I sold $45,000 worth of clothes in that first market.
In 3 days?
In 3 days. I made them in 3 days.
You made them in 3 days. Oh, and then that market at that show.
And
so you made more than the $125 then? She didn't?
Yeah. She didn't have to cover the rent. So yeah, and I just never ever looked back. I loved clothes, and and these were, of course, they had glitter and sparkle and sequins, and so that's kind of always been like my thing is, can you ever sparkle too much? And my grandma name is actually Glitter.
Okay. Wow, Grandma Glitter.
Yeah, exactly. It's so funny because my daughter said, "Mom, I don't think he's going to be able to say glitter." I said, "Oh, he doesn't need to say glitter today. I just want to make sure when he gets to kindergarten, he says, 'Hey, Miss Jones, this is my grandma Glitter.' I just want to see the look in Miss Jones's face."
She's going to say, can you say that one more time? Wait. So, wow. So you were a seamstress making clothes, selling your goods, and doing very well at it right out the gate.
I was. And I did that for about 5 years. And retail is just tough. I was selling to department stores, and it was just, the business was just really dog eat dog. And I was on the phone with my mom, and somebody had written me a bad check. And I was like, "I just do not like this business." And my mom said, "Why don't you go be a real estate agent, pumpkin?" And I'm like, "Oh, I can't be a real estate agent. I get car sick." She goes, "Not when you drive. You'll be perfect." And sure enough, I went to real estate school, and I actually tried to get a job as an assistant because I had a small child. I was married. I needed like a paycheck.
Okay, right. So you wanted to be in the business, kind of like a lot of folks, but you still needed some consistency.
Well, yeah, because it's commission only, and it was like I didn't have the luxury of not making money. So I thought, okay, I'll be an assistant.
Mm-hmm.
And so I went and interviewed, And it was these 3 soldiers. I mean, these ladies were militant.
Okay.
I mean, they were the relo queens. It was crazy. And so I sit down and going through the interview, and then all of a sudden she stops me, like mid-sentence. She's just, that's enough. And I'm like, oh. She goes, you're way too bubbly. We'll never hire you. You can leave. And I was like, excuse me? And she's like, yeah, it's not a personality match. You can leave.
Wow.
And I was like, okay. And then I went and interviewed with these 2 other ladies. They were going to share me as, an assistant. And it went great. I loved them. They loved me. They called me the next day. They said, hey, Glennda, it's Irene. I just want to call you and let you know we absolutely love you. We are definitely not hiring you. And I'm like, what? She's like, you're not going to be an assistant for long, and we don't want to train our competition. And I'm like, I was incensed.
So they saw it. They saw something in you.
They did, but at that time,
the time you
that was not what I wanted to hear. And so I had been reading a book, How to Develop a 6-Figure Income in Real Estate by Mike Ferry. And I had been this is back in the olden days when you went and took your test at the university with a pencil.
Okay. With the bubbles, with the number 2.
Exactly.
Right? Okay.
And it took 2 weeks to get your test back. And so I was waiting for my test to come back. And so I went to this broker and I said, hey, look, I've been reading this book. I've done everything this book has said to do. And I've got 5 people that are going to list their house with me, and nobody will hire me as an assistant. And she goes, you got 5 listings? And I'm like, well, yeah, 5 people told me they'll list their house with me. She goes, how'd you get them? I said, well, the book said, call everybody that you know and tell them that you're in real estate. Tell them they can either buy or sell. Either one is fine with you, and see who does business with you. And sure enough, 5 people had agreed to list their house with me. And she goes, you're hired.
Right on the spot.
Right on the spot. Like, that was it.
Those other people missed out.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Because they would have had 5 listings, and I would have given them the listings, and they would have paid me my,
10% or whatever it was at the time.
I didn't even know that there was a percentage that needed to be paid back then. They could have probably still paid me my $7 an hour, and I'd have been happy as a pig in a puddle.
Right. It was funny when I got my license in 91, and it was very young. I was 18, and similar to your story, and I didn't know we never talked about the money part, and so I sold some new construction houses for the broker who was a developer, and I got a check for $500, and I was like, but based on but I don't know. We didn't know. We were happy that we got a sale.
Yeah. And at that point, my first sale was $60,000. And so
that was in Atlanta.
In Atlanta in 1992 in December. So I got licensed September 4th. My first closing was December the 6th. And
wait a minute. December 4th license.
September 4th.
Oh, September 4th license.
December 6th closing.
Okay, right. Okay, immediately.
I was agent of the month by December.
Not bad.
Yeah, I listed in December. So I already had those 5 listings,
okay.
Right? And then in December, I listed another $1.2 million.
In 92. Wow.
Yeah.
So that had to be like 15, 20 houses at that time, right?
Price point? Actually, no, it wasn't, because I had in this book, it said find a farm. Well, I lived in an apartment.
Okay.
And so I thought, okay, find a farm. You're going to find a neighborhood, and you want to pick a price range that's, where you want to sell. You want to pick an area where you want to sell. If you don't already live in that neighborhood, if you want to live in that neighborhood, that'd be like a good criteria. And so sure enough, that's what I did. And I found these 3 beautiful neighborhoods, and in Duluth, which is outside of Atlanta. And so I started putting my little baby in the stroller. So I would take my car, I'd park at the swimming pool, I'd put my baby in the stroller, I'd walk through the neighborhood, I'd wave at the neighbors. Hey, how are you? I had gone through with this thing called a camera, not your phone. Back in the day, there was this actual thing that was a camera. And so I would take a picture, and I would say, picture 1 is 123 Banana Street. Picture 2 is 125 Banana Street. And so literally, I went through the entire neighborhood, and then I took it to the film store. Remember, you had to get the pictures developed at a film store.
At a Kodak store or something.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I got the pictures developed, and I put them in a book, and I pulled the tax records, and I learned all the old listings, and I put it all in a notebook, a 3-ring binder, and a sheet protector. And so then that way, when I would walk along the street, I would know where Bobby and Susie lived. And so I would say, hey, how are you doing? And they'd say, hey. And I'd say, Susie, right? And she'd go, yeah, I'm Glennda, the real estate agent. She had no idea I didn't live in the neighborhood.
Right.
None.
You got the baby in the stroller. You got the whole thing going.
And my car's parked at the swimming pool.
Right.
And so
Talk about building rapport quickly.
in the book, it said, put your picture on everything. People do business with people they know. So I got a little newsletter, put my picture on it, and everybody at the office is laughing at me. I mean, because nobody's putting their picture on anything in 1992. Nobody. So I'm putting my picture on it, and I'm sending out my little black and white newsletter. And then it said, preview all of the houses that are for sale. And so I was like, okay. So the house would be for sale. And back in the olden days, you would call and they would give you the owner's phone number. And I would say, hey, Mrs. Jones, this is Glennda Baker. I'm a real estate agent in your area. I'd like to preview your house on Tuesday between 1 and 2. And she'd say, okay. And I'd say, I'm just previewing. I won't be with the buyer. You don't need to leave. And she's like, okay, no problem. So Mrs. Jones would open the door for me. I would walk in and I'd say, hey, how are you doing? I'm like, nobody knows your house like you do. Do you want to walk me through and telling me all the amazing things about your house? Because when I have somebody who wants to see it, I want to be able to show it to them through your eyes. And sure enough, they would show me through. And so it just so happened that one of those houses expired in the farm where I had been strolling the baby that I had previewed. And
before she left your information.
I'd had a beautiful card. And of course, I'd built rapport with her. And the husband calls me and he's like, hey, you previewed our house at 123 Banana Street. My wife was really impressed by you. She asked me to give you a call and see if you would mind talking to us about selling her house. And I'm like, I'd love to. I went Christmas Eve. It was Christmas Eve. I sit down with the husband at his office and I've got my books.
Right.
And I know everything because I already know everything about. As soon as he called me, he goes, I never ever forget this. He goes, I live at 3711 River Mansions Drive. And I said, oh, the White House with the columns, with the ficus tree and the pink Spanish marble. I love your house. So I already knew everything about it because I had taken notes when I was there previewing it. So then that way, if I did have a buyer, I could really speak intelligently.
Right.
So nobody questions your experience when they're enjoying the experience with you. And so they never asked me how long I had been in business. It was crazy. I listed that house in December on Christmas Eve. I took my paperwork with me and I was agent of the month in December. And after that, I was agent of the month every month the next year except for 2.
So you were definitely agent of the year.
Yeah.
For that next year.
I was rookie of the year, agent of the year, because whatever I was told to do, I did it. Because I didn't know any better. Like I didn't have any bad habits. And I would get to the office at 9 o'clock and it's me and Carol, the office administrator. I said, where is everybody? She goes, oh, honey, it's real estate. She goes, they'll start rolling in about 11. I was like, really? She goes, yeah. So I'm sitting in a little bullpen by myself and, just kind of looking around. And there was this one girl, she was the number one agent in the office. And I went to the broker and I said, can I move my little queue? And she goes, sure. She goes, as long as there's not somebody else in that queue, go right ahead. And I moved my queue next to right outside of her office. She had a corner office, big fancy corner office. I moved my queue right outside of her office. I listened to every word that girl said. If she needed a copy, I made a copy. She needed signs delivered, lock boxes delivered, flyers made, whatever she needed, drop off, run. I was anything. I listened to everything that girl did. And no lie, I did it exactly the same way.
Yeah, and I think that's a huge lesson that a lot of people, whether it's real estate or whatever business they're in, being a student and learning first and that service mentality. You were there to serve, and by serving and volunteering and helping, you were learning. It was almost like an internship.
It was an internship, and it was a crash course from the absolute best real estate agent in the office. And that girl was the number one agent in the city.
Okay.
So I literally got to shadow this agent who like nobody was close to, because she was
Right.
hardcore. I mean, she was running her business, and at that time she had an assistant, but the assistant was terrible. And so I was always, oh, she needed coffee. Nothing was beneath me. I was prepared to do whatever it took, and no lie, I was doing good.
Wow. So how long did you stay in that office?
Okay, so this is really interesting. So I was in that office. I started there September the 4th. And on March 1st, a lady who owned another company reached out to me. And she goes, you're all the talk around the water cooler. I want to meet with you. And I said, oh, okay. And this lady was a legend. I mean, it was like the only female owned brokerage. I mean, she was a legend in Atlanta real estate. And I'm like, okay, this is kind of strange, but okay. So I go meet with her, and she goes, I want you to come work for me. And I'm like, look, I just spent $1,500 on marketing, and it has this other company's name on it. Like, I don't have the money to duplicate that. And I appreciate the offer, but I can't do that. And she goes, show me the marketing. And I had my briefcase with me, and I pulled it out. And she goes, who did all this marketing? I said, I did the marketing. And she goes, you put your face on it? You did these business cards? I'm like, yeah. She goes, I'll replicate it for you. She goes, I'll pay for it.
Just covering the expense.
And I said, are you sure? And she's like, absolutely. She goes, you need to be here. She goes, I've got to have you. And so sure enough, she replicated all that marketing. I made a change in March. I went to work for her, and I learned so much about marketing. I learned so much about packaging. I learned so much about creating credibility through proof. And she changed the trajectory of my business.
Wow. Those conversations, those opportunities come, and sometimes one door closes, another door opens, and that was definitely a big wide door.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was such a great brokerage. And in that brokerage, those agents became my family. I mean, they had a baby shower for me. It was wonderful. It was an amazing experience. And she created a culture, especially for women back in the 90s. Her brokerage was majority women, mm-hmm. and it was just like a family, a sisterhood.
Wow, that's awesome. So bring it forward, I guess 27 years later, what does your business look like now? How many families do you serve? Well, what does it look like?
It hasn't always been sunshine and sparkle. It just hasn't.
You sure? It's easy. All you do is, in this business, we just drink champagne.
Exactly. Look at pretty houses and drive around in fancy cars. But I went through a divorce, and was in a position where I was really struggling financially. And it was me and my 2 kids, and my little son was 3, my daughter was 13. And I'm doing everything I can. I've bought a house, no doc, no verification of income. Literally 100% loan, gazillion percent interest rate. They've gotten us into a house, and we are eating Panda Express every night because it's $9.99. I can feed the 3 of us from one meal. And my little daughter, 13 years old, she just had so much belief in me. And people always say, oh, I didn't have the option for failure. Well, failure is actually the easiest option. But when I looked into that child's eyes, I knew that I couldn't afford to fail. And her belief in me really struck a chord. And so I started my own company from that divorce. And I had been left with $44 in my bank account. And from that, I started my own company and recruited agents. And I had my own company 11 years before it was purchased and bought a big box company. So It's definitely been an interesting ride. There's ebbs and flows in real estate, just like there are in life. And today I look back and I think to myself how fortunate I have been, because I run a team of 5, all women, all female team, and the staff of 2 of us behind the scenes. And last year, or I guess this year, we'll serve 114 clients.
Wow.
And about 2 years ago, I started this video thing.
Okay. I may have heard. Some of our guests, some of our viewers may have heard a little
I
bit.
mean, it's been crazy. 2 years ago, I started this video thing. And I always considered myself the ambassador of the American dream. I remember how proud my own mother was when she was able to purchase a home. And when I had gone through that divorce and then I was able to purchase a home, the dream of home ownership had given us so much, self-respect and pride and self-esteem. And so,
To have our own.
yeah, exactly. And so I always thought that kind of my mission in life was to help people achieve the American dream. And over the last 2 years, I've really had the opportunity to inspire other real estate agents, which I never ever thought my videos would touch, because really the videos are for buyers and sellers.
Mm-hmm.
From time to time, there will be agent tips in there, but really my videos are designed for buyers and sellers. Yeah, and investors. Yeah. And so agents started following me, and now every day, whether it's in person or through a direct message or a text message or a phone call, there's someone who reaches out to me and says, "You inspired me to get into real estate. You inspired me to change my life. You reminded me that I'm not too old, that greatness is still in my grasp." And so for me, that's really been so fulfilling to know. I mean, I barely graduated from high school. I didn't go to college. And to think that people trust me with what is their single largest asset is an honor. But to be able to inspire other people,
Mm-hmm.
impact their life, I mean, like, that is such a huge honor.
Yeah, and that's really the next level, because as real estate professionals, we, typically we serve, one client, one family. We affect that one family of 2 or 1 or 6.
Yeah.
But what you're doing with your videos and inspiring other real estate professionals and small business owners, just real estate,
Oh, yeah.
and other people that always wanted to play the piano or always wanted to dance or always wanted to swim, and you've inspired them to do that, you are affecting, if it's a real estate or business owner, and then all the families there, I mean, literally thousands of your reach.
Well, so on average, I have 344,000 views a day across my video catalog. So,
Say that one more time.
so
Day.
per day, 344,000 views a day on average across the video catalog.
Wow.
That's 2.5 million people a week that see the videos. And the exponential reach of video. And this is the thing, people think that it's about views. It's not about views. It's not about followers. It's not about vanity metrics. It's about value. What value are you bringing to your community, whoever that community is? And, there's an attorney that was following me, and he reached out to me and he goes, "You are amazing. The way that you communicate, the way that you're getting the information out there." He goes, "Do you realize how many people not in real estate that you're inspiring?" And so it's really cool, especially from an attorney, because, those people are typically stuffy. It's really cool to kind of get those messages and be reminded that we all have the opportunity to impact someone, to inspire someone, to inform someone with our words, our stories, our experiences.
Yeah, right. And people will look and say, that if you could do it, then I could do it.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, or if you could do that, then I can do this.
Absolutely.
And it's just, like you said, the words that inspire. And if 344,000 views across your platforms per day, there aren't that many realtors in Atlanta.
No.
So obviously 90%, 97, probably 9% of your views are from folks around the world that have nothing to do with real estate.
Oh, it's crazy. When I get on my Instagram lives, it'll be hi from New Zealand or hi from Australia. And I'm like, am I really something in Australia?
World.
I mean, it's crazy. But again, you never ever know when that pebble drops in the water, the effect that it'll have. Like, think about that. Like, you have this once in a lifetime opportunity to make your mark on the world. Like, why would you not seize that and live your best life every day?
Yeah, that's, I think, I mean, we could probably stop now. And that's, you said it, but that's what is just, people don't know, tomorrow's not promised.
No,
And we know
it
that.
has an expiration date. Don't kid yourself.
Yeah, and we've learned that, if not more than ever, in the past few years. And so do it now, whatever it is, I would say do it now. You know, take that swim class, take that piano class, learn how to dance. I've been saying for a long time, I'm going to learn how to salsa dance. But just
Won a salsa contest.
wow.
I'm telling you, I am quite the dancer. Anna was in Dancing with the Stars in Atlanta, where they have like a local celebrity and a professional, and it raises money for a charity. And so I did not win the dancing contest, but I raised about $30,000 for charity, and it was wonderful.
Well, speaking of charity, congratulations. What are your charities of choice, or what do you do in your community and communities around? What are your favorites?
So I have my own foundation. It's called Operation Birthday Cake, and I provide birthday cakes for homeless children. So I was at an event several years ago, and a little girl wrote a thank you note to this ladies group for these sheets and this blanket that she never ever had matching sheets. And these ladies had provided like these sheets with flowers on them and this pink blanket. And she said, but my favorite thing is the smell of the blanket, because when I lived on the streets, I had this orange blanket and it smelled bad. And I had wished on my birthday for a new blanket, but I didn't know if it would come true because I didn't have a birthday cake and candles to blow out. And I was like, oh, and the lady goes, oh, it's not time for comments or questions. And I said, oh, no, I don't have a question. I said, I'll do the birthday cakes. And she's like, oh, okay. So they finish up their meeting and everybody rushes over to me and they're like, what do you mean you'll do the birthday cakes? And I'm like, well, you have a children's homeless shelter, correct? And they're like, yes. And I'm like, okay. So I'll give you a birthday cake for every child on their birthday. I just need to know the flavor and the theme, whatever is their favorite. Just let me know and I'll get that done for you. And they're like, lady, there's like 60 kids in this homeless shelter. And I'm like, all good. You need the cake to feed 60 kids? Super. You need plates, forks, napkins, candles. Like, tell me what you need. I'll make it happen. And so I have been donating birthday cakes to children's homeless shelters because we take it for granted. I'm sure, my kids, they have, these beautiful soccer birthday cakes, all these kind of birthdays. And here's a child, a 12-year-old little girl who doesn't know if she's actually going to have a clean blanket because she made a wish for it on a birthday when she didn't have probably any food, much less a birthday cake or a candle to blow out. And I was like, it's such a small thing to me and such a huge thing to someone else. So I'm taking these birthday cakes and either I'll deliver them or a runner on my team will deliver them. And it's Memorial Day. And I'm going over there. It's about 5:00. And this young man is walking out and he goes, and I've got the cake in my hand. It's a full sheet cake. And he goes, are you Miss Glennda? And I said, I am Miss Glennda. And he goes, I'm Keffion. And I said, hey, Keffion. I said, I got your birthday cake. It was his birthday. And he goes, I thought you might have forgotten because it was later in the day. It was about 5 o'clock. And typically we would deliver them while they're at school, but it was Memorial Day, had a bunch of stuff going on. So he goes, I thought maybe you had forgotten. I'm like, oh, my stars and stripes. Absolutely not. And he leans down. He goes, can I give you a hug? And I said, absolutely. Big, tall boy. And he leans down and he engulfs me in this hug. And he whispers in my ear, I've never had a birthday cake before.
Wow.
And he's 18 years old. So this kid is 18 years old. He's never had a birthday cake in his life. He's living in a children's homeless shelter. And I whisper in his ear. And I said, this is your first of many because I know that you are destined for greatness. And I thought to myself, that one act of kindness might have changed that little boy's life. At least it let him know that somebody cared about him and thought he was important. And so again, I go back.
That's awesome.
To you never ever know who you have the opportunity to inspire, impact, and inform. Don't take that for granted.
Wow, that's awesome. And that is, your service is why so many blessings just come back. And you've done so much good and put so much positive energy out there. The blessings, they will never catch up with what you've done. You just continue to serve.
I'm so abundantly blessed. I don't think I ever realized probably how close my own mother was for us to not have secure housing. So when she moved us from Chattanooga to Atlanta when I was 2, we lived in downtown Atlanta in a furnished apartment. And, I'm 2 years old. We lived there for about a year next door to the church, and the church ladies helped us. Looking back, I can see how much help my mother received that I didn't know about. I remember when she was able to get a real apartment, and it was a 1-bedroom apartment, but instead of letting me think I didn't have a room, she made a room for me out on this patio that didn't have heat or air conditioning. And that was my room. Although I never slept in that room, I slept in the bed with her.
Mm-hmm. But you had your own room.
But I had my own room. And I think about all of the things that my mother sacrificed to make me believe that I had a place in the world, that I was special. And I want to be able to translate that to people as well. I want them to know that they're special. I want them to know that there's hope. And I want to help people build legendary wealth, generational wealth through real estate and the dream of homeownership. And I don't want that just for buyers and sellers. I want that for agents. I don't want any agent to be living check to check. I want to inspire them to build their own portfolio of real estate and help other people.
Right. That is the goal. So on that note, what do you have? I know you have more blessings than you can handle when you're putting it out in the universe. What's in store? What's in your future? You've got the 5-person team now. You're doing some. I know you have irons in the fire. What do you see your biggest positive changes happening over the next 3 to 5 years?
I think that as my platform continues to grow, really drilling down on my message of, inspiring others, reaching others, being kind to others, going that extra mile where you have the ability, operating from abundancy. I think that so many people are so afraid that someone's going to take something that's theirs, and they hold it so tight that they smother it. And for me, I can't shout from the rooftops enough how to invest in real estate, how to be a homeowner, affordability. Like, do you understand? Like, children that are 4, 5, 6 years old, will they be able to afford housing when they're 20, when they get through with college? Like, the affordability of home ownership is becoming extinct. And I want to do our military. Like, we just went through this crazy real estate market where our military, people doing VA loans, people doing FHA loans, were so disadvantaged in this multiple offer, hundreds of thousands of dollars over the list price market that we came from. Like, I want, those people should be at the top of the list. Like, they're protecting us, whether they're police or fire or military, like the teachers, like these people are doing their best for us. They should be at the top of the list. So really, my platform, I want to use it to help people get into homes, build wealth through homes, and then help real estate agents really level up the service that they bring to the consumer.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we know that a lot of or some real estate professionals look at it as transactional and not in the big picture and being of service like you and so many others here.
Yeah, you that's the thing, is like, people are not transactions. My tagline is, we provide the backdrop, you create the memories. Because people do life in the homes that I sell them. Like, every picture on the stairs, every picture in front of the mantle, every picture in front of the Christmas tree. Like, people are living their lives in the homes that you sold them. Like, how can you not be intimately connected with those people? You are not a service provider. This job cannot be done online. It can't. People want to do business with people that care about them. And that is the difference.
Yeah, and I think people, when we get that, everyone, or, I know, and everyone that I know that knows you, and all of our viewers out here that know that about you, that you care about people. And so that's amazing. So let me ask you, if as your team grows and as you're helping agents, in Atlanta or really around the world, helping inspire those, if folks wanted to reach out to you and maybe they want to buy a house and create some memories as well, or sell a home, what is the best way? I know you have multiple things. That how will they actually, what's the best way for them to reach you?
It's just Google Glennda. Like, literally just Google my name, Glennda. So 2 N's, Glennda. Just Google Glennda. Everything will come up. TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, my Google page, my website, all that stuff. But I want people to reach out to me where they're comfortable. You're comfortable on Facebook, reach out to me there. I am all about attraction marketing. I'm Glennda Baker everywhere on every single platform. And I really, truly believe, it's funny because we're taught, put a call to action, put a call to action, put a call to action. What people don't realize is that their time, someone's time and someone's attention is their most valuable asset. I want them to spend time with me when they need me. I want them to spend time with me when I can inspire them. I want you to spend time with your family and spend time where you want, where it helps you. So while everybody wants you to follow them and all that kind of stuff, just Google Glennda. And then that way, they'll find me when they need me.
2 N's, Glenn.
Because my dad's name was Glenn, Glenn, and I'm duh. He was nervous when he filled out the birth certificate. So he just wrote his name and then duh. We didn't even know it had 2 N's until I went to get a birth certificate to go out of the country. And my mom's like, oh, we'll change that. I'm like, oh, no. I like this. It's a little bit different, just like me.
Right.
I'm not here to be ordinary, and my name's not ordinary. It's been
and you're certainly not ordinary.
That's not my goal. That's not my goal.
All right. Now, normally, I know I would have a quote of the day, but I want you to, since you inspire me, every time we hang out, I have a good time. I always learn so much from you every time I see you. You provide the quote of the day for today.
Okay. So I have really been on this kick about time and attention. And so the quote of the day is, don't be distracted from something you should be devoted to. People think that time is your most valuable asset. I would argue that it's attention, because how many times do you spend time with somebody and you're distracted? So don't be distracted from something you should be devoted to.
So be present.
Yeah, be present. Be with that person. It's not your time that's your most valuable asset. It's your attention.
I like that.
No charge for that
Yeah,
today.
So I know we gotta keep the ticker going. Well, I appreciate it. It has been very great having you. All right, and I will see you soon.
Thank you, doll.
Thank.
Yeah.